Your empire isn't just your business. It's your mind, your discipline, your legacy. But most men defend nothing. They surrender to comfort. They obey their emotions. They fear criticism more than failure. But you must be different, ruthless with your focus, merciless with your time. The world does not reward the distracted. It obeys the decisive. So I ask you now, what are you building? And who must you become to protect it? Subscribe to our channel if you're ready to master your mind, and tell us, where are you watching from? Listen closely, for I speak not of mere ambition, but of survival. In this world there are only two positions, the ruler and the ruled, the builder and the built upon, the commander and the commanded. Which are you? I have seen men waste decades, believing there is middle ground, some comfortable space between greatness and submission. There is none. Every morning you wake without building your empire is a morning you strengthen someone else's. Every hour spent following another's orders is an hour your own kingdom crumbles before it's built. But here's what most don't understand. Your empire begins not with land or gold, but with a decision, a single, unshakable command to yourself that from this moment forward you will no longer accept the small existence others have planned for you. You will no longer play within the boundaries they've drawn. You will no longer ask permission to expand. I built my empire from the ashes of a broken nation, but you have resources I never possessed. Technology that would have seemed like sorcery in my time. Knowledge that took generations to gather, now available in seconds. Yet you squander it. You scroll when you should be strategizing. You consume when you should be creating. You debate when you should be deciding. The fundamental law of power hasn't changed. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you do not fill your world with your vision, someone else will fill it with theirs. If you do not set the standards in your life, you will find yourself meeting standards set by lesser men. If you do not build systems to control your time, others will build systems to control you. This is why mediocrity is so dangerous. It's comfortable enough to trap you, but too weak to protect you. The mediocre man thinks he's safe in his routine, his small decisions, his careful life. But safety is an illusion. The world respects only strength, only conviction, only the audacity to declare, "This is my domain, and I will expand it." Your empire isn't just a business or a bank account. It's every domain you command. Your mind. Is it an organized force of clarity and purpose, or a chaotic rebellion of scattered thoughts? Your body. Is it a disciplined army ready for battle, or a lazy garrison that's lost its edge? Your time. Is it a well-defended territory where every hour serves your mission, or an open border where any distraction can invade? Let me be clear. The greatest threat to your empire isn't external competition. It's internal weakness. It's the tolerance of small thinking. It's the acceptance of average results. It's the willingness to negotiate with your own standards. Every compromise you make with mediocrity is a crack in your empire's foundation. I've watched men with every advantage squander empires, and men with nothing build them from dirt. The difference wasn't resources. It was resolution, the absolute, granite-hard conviction that they would rather die building something magnificent than live maintaining something mediocre. Consider this. Every great empire in history began with a single individual who refused to accept the world as it was presented to them. They saw beyond the immediate landscape to what could be built upon it. They understood that true power isn't inherited. It's created, forged in the furnace of unwavering dedication and relentless action. You must develop the eye of a conqueror. Where others see obstacles, you must see opportunities. Where they see limitations, you must see launching points. Every constraint is merely a challenge to be overcome. Every setback, a lesson to be learned. Every failure, a foundation to build upon. The path of empire building is not for the faint of heart. It demands sacrifices that most are unwilling to make. You must be prepared to sacrifice comfort for growth, popularity for power, immediate pleasures for lasting achievement. You must be willing to stand alone, to be misunderstood, to be criticized by those who cannot comprehend the scale of your vision. So I ask you now, what territory are you ceding through hesitation? What resources are you wasting through lack of strategy? What battles are you losing through poor preparation? These aren't philosophical questions, they're tactical ones. Your answer determines whether you'll build an empire or serve in someone else's. Remember this, history doesn't record the cautious, the timid, the men who waited for permission. It remembers the builders, the commanders, the ones who saw empty space and declared, "Here I will build something extraordinary." Which page will you write? The time for hesitation is over. Your empire demands construction. Now, the world is waiting to see what you will build, what territories you will claim, what legacy you will leave. Will you rise to the challenge, or will you join the ranks of those who watched from the sidelines as others built their empires? The choice is yours. But know this, the window of opportunity closes with each passing day. Before you can command armies, you must first command yourself. Before you can conquer territories, you must first conquer your thoughts. This is the first principle of empire building that so many fail to grasp. They dream of leading thousands while their own minds remain in chaos. Let me share with you what I learned in my years of solitude, in the quiet moments before battles that shaped continents. The mind of a leader must be like a war room, organized, focused, and primed for decisive action. Every thought must serve a purpose. Every mental energy must be directed toward your ultimate objective. But here's what most people don't understand about mental mastery. It's not about positive thinking or mere motivation. It's about establishing absolute dominion over your internal kingdom. Your mind is a territory that must be governed with the same ruthless efficiency as any province under your control. Think of your thoughts as soldiers. Would you allow your army to wander aimlessly, each soldier choosing their own direction? Would you permit them to question every command, to debate every strategy? Of course not. Yet this is precisely how most men treat their thoughts, allowing them to roam freely, to challenge their authority, to waste precious resources on meaningless skirmishes. The first step in mental governance is establishing clear hierarchies of thought. Not all thoughts deserve your attention, just as not all matters deserve a commander's consideration. You must learn to distinguish between the strategic and the trivial, between thoughts that advance your empire and those that merely create noise. Here's what I demand of you. Create silence in your mind. Real silence. The kind of silence that makes weak men uncomfortable. The kind of silence where you can hear your own greatness calling. In this silence, you will find the seeds of empire. Your true ambitions will speak to you, uncluttered by the opinions of lesser minds. Discipline your mental court like I disciplined mine. Every morning before the world demands your attention, hold counsel with yourself. Review your territories, your goals, your strategies, your resources. Issue clear commands to your mental forces. What must be conquered today? What weaknesses must be fortified? What allies must be cultivated? But be warned. The greatest threat to mental governance is not external chaos. It's internal rebellion, the part of you that seeks comfort over conquest. The voice that suggests mediocrity is acceptable. The thoughts that whisper, perhaps tomorrow, when action is needed today. These are traitors to your empire, and they must be dealt with accordingly. You must establish systems of mental accountability. Just as I kept detailed maps of my campaigns, you must map your mental territory. What thoughts dominate your landscape? What enemies repeatedly breach your borders? What areas of your mind remain ungoverned, wild, and wasteful? The mind of an empire builder must be both fortress and forge. A fortress to protect your vision from the constant assault of mediocre thinking that surrounds you. A forge to transform raw potential into focused power, to shape loose ideas into concrete plans, to hammer weakness into strength. Remember this, every great conquest began as a thought. Every empire was first built in the mind of its creator. The French Empire I built was first constructed in my mind during long nights of study and contemplation. Your empire, whatever form it takes, must follow the same path. This is why I stress the power of strategic solitude. You must regularly withdraw from the noise of the world to strengthen your mental sovereignty. In these moments of isolation, your mind sharpens, your vision clarifies, and your resolve hardens. This is not retreat, it's reinforcement. Establish strict protocols for what you allow into your mental territory. Every piece of information, every conversation, every influence must be scrutinized, like a foreign diplomat at your borders. Does it serve your empire? Does it strengthen your resolve? Does it sharpen your strategic thinking? If not, it is a potential spy in your camp. Learn to recognize the difference between productive contemplation and wasteful rumination. Strategic thinking advances your empire. Worry depletes your resources. Analysis leads to action. Anxiety leads to paralysis. A leader's mind must be a tool of conquest, not a chamber of fears. Your mental discipline must become legendary. When others are distracted, you must be focused. When they are reactive, you must be strategic. When they are ruled by emotion, you must be governed by purpose. This is how empires are built, from the inside out, beginning with the absolute dominion over one's own thoughts. The quality of your thinking will determine the quality of your empire. Weak thoughts create weak plans. Scattered thoughts create scattered results. But focused, disciplined, imperial thinking, that creates dynasties. Let me tell you about your most dangerous enemy, one that has toppled more potential empires than any external force. It's not your competition. It's not the market. It's not even your own doubt. It's distraction, the silent assassin of greatness. In my time, distractions were simple: a messenger with urgent news, a general seeking immediate counsel, the temptations of power. But you face an army of distractions so sophisticated, so relentless, that they make the siege of Toulon look like a minor skirmish. Here's what most people don't understand about distraction. It's not just the interruption of focus. It's the pillaging of potential. Every moment you spend scrolling mindlessly through your phone is a moment your empire remains unbuilt. Every hour lost to pointless meetings is an hour your competitors use to advance their position. Every day scattered among trivial tasks is a day your legacy diminishes. You must wage war against distraction with the same strategic precision I used to conquer Europe. First, recognize that distraction is not a series of isolated incidents. It's a coordinated assault on your empire, your phone, your email, your notifications. The constant demands for your attention, these are not neutral tools. They are siege, weapons designed to breach the walls of your focus. Implement what I call the imperial guard of attention. Just as I positioned my most elite soldiers to protect crucial strategic positions, you must position your strongest defenses around your most valuable resource, your focus time. Create impenetrable boundaries around the hours when your mind is sharpest. No emails, no calls, no social media, no negotiations. But here's the crucial tactical insight. Defending against distraction is not enough. You must actively conquer territory for deep focus. Claim specific hours of your day for strategic work. Mark them on your calendar like battle plans. Guard them as fiercely as I guarded Paris. These are not merely appointments with yourself. They are campaigns for your empire's expansion. Learn to distinguish between activity and advancement. Your enemies want you to mistake motion for progress, busyness for productivity. I've watched countless potential leaders fall into this trap, spending their days responding to others' urgencies while their own empire crumbles from neglect. Remember, being busy is not the same as being strategic. Movement without direction is just retreat in disguise. You must develop what I call the commander's eye, the ability to instantly recognize what deserves your attention and what must be eliminated. When I surveyed a battlefield, I could immediately identify the critical points that would determine victory or defeat. You must survey your day with the same strategic clarity. Which tasks will actually advance your empire? Which are merely distractions disguised as duties? Establish clear protocols for handling intelligence. In my empire, not every piece of information needed to reach my desk. Not every decision required my personal attention. Create systems to filter and delegate. Your time is like artillery, powerful, but limited. Save it for targets that truly matter. Here's a harsh truth. Most of what screams for your attention is insignificant. The truly important rarely comes with notifications. Empire-building opportunities don't announce themselves in your inbox. They're found in the depths of focused work, in the silence of strategic thinking, in the ruthless execution of your plans. Train your mind like I trained my soldiers to maintain focus under fire. Start with short periods of absolute concentration, then gradually extend them. Your mind must learn to hold its position regardless of the distractions that attack it. This is not just about productivity, it's about power. The ability to maintain focus while others fragment their attention is a strategic advantage. Implement what I call the scorched earth policy against distractions. Just as I denied resources to advancing armies, deny platforms to potential interruptions. Delete apps that waste your time. Unsubscribe from notifications that fragment your focus. Create distance between yourself and anything that threatens your strategic concentration. Remember, distraction is not just an external force. It's often an internal rebellion. Your own mind, seeking comfort or avoiding challenge, will generate distractions. Learn to recognize these internal saboteurs, the sudden urge to check your phone during deep work, the impulse to switch tasks just as you approach a breakthrough. These are not random occurrences. They are your mind's resistance to the discipline of greatness. Your ability to focus is like a territory. It must be defended daily, expanded regularly, and fortified constantly. Every time you defeat distraction, you claim new ground. Every period of deep focus strengthens your empire's foundations. Every battle won against interruption is a step toward legendary achievement. Let others fragment their empire with divided attention. Let them scatter their forces across 1,000 pointless engagements. You will build your legacy through the power of sustained focus, through the artillery of concentrated effort, through the absolute command of your own attention. The war against distraction is not won in a single battle. It's won through daily victories, through consistent vigilance, through the unwavering defense of your most precious resource, your focused attention. Now, Commander, survey your territory. What distractions must you eliminate? What boundaries must you fortify? What focus will you defend with your life? Time is not a river flowing endlessly. It is a finite army at your command. Every second is a soldier, every hour a battalion, every day a division that must be deployed with strategic precision. I did not conquer Europe by squandering my forces, and you will not build your empire by squandering your time. Let me share a truth that most men never grasp. Your relationship with time reveals everything about your potential for power. Show me how you spend your hours, and I will show you the size of empire you're capable of building. The mathematics of greatness is ruthlessly simple. Your achievements will never exceed your ability to command time. But here's what most people don't understand about time mastery. It's not about managing time. It's about commanding it. Management is for clerks. Command is for emperors. You must stop asking how to fit everything into your schedule and start demanding that your schedule serve your empire. I want you to approach your calendar like I approached my war maps. Every block of time must have a clear objective. Every hour must advance your position. Every day must capture new territory for your empire. There can be no neutral zones, no unaccounted for resources, no wasted battalions. Your energy, that magnificent force that turns time into achievement, must be protected with even greater vigilance. A soldier's rifle is useless without ammunition, and time is worthless without energy to fill it. You must become scientific in your understanding of your own power source. When are you sharpest? When does your mind command its greatest resources? These are your hours of conquest. Defend them mercilessly. Implement what I call the Imperial Energy Protocol. Just as I positioned my forces to maximize their impact, you must position your highest value activities during your periods of peak performance. Save your strategic thinking for when your mind is fresh. Reserve your creative work for when your imagination is most fertile. Match your most crucial tasks to your moments of greatest power. Learn to recognize the difference between activity and strategy. I've watched men exhaust themselves with constant motion, mistaking perpetual busyness for effective leadership. They deploy their energy like amateur generals, sending troops in every direction, responding to every skirmish, chasing every distraction. This is not the path to empire, it's the road to defeat. Your energy must be treated like elite fighting. Force, deployed selectively, focused intensely, and rested strategically. Yes, rest. Do not mistake my calls for ruthlessness as a demand for perpetual action. Even my Grande Armée required recuperation to maintain its legendary force. Your periods of rest should be as strategically planned as your periods of conquest. Here's a tactical approach I demand you implement: the power block system. Divide your day into non-negotiable blocks of focused action. 2 hours for strategic planning, 3 hours for empire-building activities, 1 hour for reviewing and strengthening. Alliances. These are not mere suggestions, they are battle orders. Your time blocks must be defended with the same ferocity with which I defended Paris. But remember this: time management without energy management is like having an army without supplies. You must fuel your force. Your sleep must be disciplined. It's not a luxury, it's tactical restoration. Your nutrition must be strategic. It's not about pleasure, it's about power. Your physical condition must be maintained. A commander's energy is as crucial as his strategy. Institute what I call the Emperor's Review. At the end of each day, assess your deployment of time and energy. Where were your forces most effective? Where did you waste resources? Where did your defenses falter? This is not mere reflection. It's tactical analysis that will shape tomorrow's victories. Develop an absolute intolerance for energy thieves, those activities, people, and habits that drain your power without advancing your empire. In my campaigns, I eliminated anything that weakened my army's effectiveness. You must be equally ruthless with what depletes your force. Every relationship that drains you, every habit that weakens you, every commitment that doesn't serve your empire must be evaluated and potentially eliminated. Your schedule is not a democracy, it's an empire. Stop negotiating with time wasters. Stop compromising with energy drainers. Your hours and your energy are your army. Every moment spent in weakness is a moment your competitors spent gaining. Ground. Master the art of strategic renewal. Just as I rotated my forces to maintain their fighting strength, you must cycle between periods of intense focus and strategic recovery. This is not about work-life balance, it's about maintaining peak combat effectiveness. Rest is not a surrender, it's a strategic regroup. Remember, time and energy are your only truly finite resources. Money can be earned back, relationships can be rebuilt, opportunities can return. But time? Once deployed, it never returns to. Your command, energy scattered, cannot be fully reclaimed. This is why your command of these resources must be absolute, your deployment of them strategic, your defense of them ruthless. In the depths of solitude, empires are conceived. Let me share with you a truth that shaped my conquest of Europe. The most crucial battles are won in isolation, long before any sword is drawn. Your greatest strategic advantage lies not in constant connection, but in strategic separation. But here's what most people don't understand about solitude. It's not a retreat from power, it's an advance toward it. The masses fear silence. They run from isolation. They fill every moment with noise, every second with distraction. This is why they remain the masses and never become masters. During my campaigns, I would often withdraw to my tent surrounded by maps and battle plans, refusing all interruption. My generals knew that these moments of isolation were as critical as any military maneuver. In these hours of strategic solitude, clarity emerged. Battles were won in my mind before they were fought on the field. You must establish what I call the Emperor's Sanctuary, a time and space where you are completely unreachable, where your mind can expand to its full strategic dimensions. This is not a luxury. This is not self-indulgence. This is the forge where your empire's foundation is strengthened, where your vision gains its edge. Think of solitude as your private war room. Would you invite the enemy to your strategic planning? Would you broadcast your tactical discussions? Of course not. Yet in today's world, you voluntarily surrender your mental sovereignty, allowing constant interruption, inviting endless distraction, permitting continuous invasion of your strategic thought. Implement the protocol of sovereign solitude. Just as I would isolate myself before major campaigns, you must create inviolable periods of isolation. 2 hours at dawn before the world's chaos begins, 1 hour at midday to realign your forces, evening hours to review your empire's expansion, and plan tomorrow's conquests. These are not suggestions. These are imperial commands. But remember this, solitude without strategy is just empty silence. Your isolation must have intention. Use these periods of separation to ask the questions that weaklings avoid. Where is your empire vulnerable? What territories remain unconquered? What alliances need strengthening? What enemies are gathering force? Here's what I demand of you. Learn to find power in silence. In my youth in Corsica, I spent countless hours alone studying military strategy, analyzing the great campaigns of history. Those around me saw isolation. I was forging the mind that would reshape Europe. Your solitude must have similar purpose. Master the art of strategic contemplation. This is not meditation. This is mental conquest. In your periods of isolation, your mind must be as active as my armies were across Europe. Survey your empire's territories, analyze your resources, plot your advances, plan your conquests. The deeper your strategic thought, the swifter your eventual victory. Institute what I call the commander's reflection protocol. In solitude, review your empire's status with brutal honesty. What ground have you gained? What opportunities have you missed? What weaknesses must be fortified? This is not mere introspection, it's tactical analysis. Your solitude must be defended. As fiercely as any physical territory, let the masses call you anti-social. Let them question your isolation. Let them demand your constant availability. Your responsibility is not to entertain the weak, but to build your empire. Every great vision I conceived, every strategy I perfected, came not from endless consultation, but from protected solitude. Develop an absolute command over your availability. Your time in isolation is not negotiable. It's not subject to democratic vote. It's not open for discussion. Just as I would never allow enemy forces to dictate my movements, you must never allow external demands to penetrate your strategic solitude. Remember, the quality of your solitude determines the quality of your strategy. Fragmented isolation produces fragmented thinking. Interrupted solitude creates interrupted execution. But pure, protected strategic solitude, that creates empires. Learn to recognize the difference between loneliness and strategic isolation. Loneliness is a weakness that seeks company. Strategic isolation is a strength that demands space for empire building. The weak fill their solitude with noise. The strong fill it with strategic thought. Your periods of solitude must be as well planned as any military campaign. The timing must be strategic. The duration must be sufficient. The protection must be absolute. Every great decision I made, every campaign I planned, every empire I envisioned, began in carefully guarded solitude. Establish clear protocols for your return from isolation, just as I would emerge from my strategic planning with clear commands. For my generals, you must emerge from your solitude with defined directives for action. Your isolation must produce clarity. Your separation must generate strategy. Your solitude must birth strength. This is not a philosophical exercise. It's a tactical imperative. In a world that increasingly demands constant connection, your ability to strategically disconnect becomes a battlefield advantage. While others fragment their power through endless accessibility, you will consolidate yours through strategic solitude. Remember, the masses fear silence because it forces them to confront their own mediocrity. Leaders embrace solitude because it allows them to forge their greatness. Which will you be, the one who fears isolation or the one who conquers through it? Listen carefully, for I speak now of the force that transformed a nation of revolutionaries into an empire of excellence. Discipline, not the weak, sporadic discipline of common men, but the ironclad, unrelenting discipline that forges legends. Without this, all your plans are merely dreams, all your strategies merely wishes. But here's what most people don't understand about discipline. It's not about punishment, it's about power. The same discipline that kept my armies marching through Russian winters will keep your empire advancing through adversity. The precision that made my artillery the finest in Europe will make your execution unmatched in your domain. Your habits are your soldiers. Each one must be trained. Each one must be drilled. Each one must be prepared for battle. A single undisciplined habit can destroy an empire faster than any external enemy. I've watched great potential crumble because men couldn't master their own routines, couldn't command their own actions, implement what I call the imperial standards protocol. Just as every soldier in my army knew exactly what was expected of them, you must establish absolutely clear standards for every aspect of your life. Your morning routine must be as precise as military drill. Your work habits must be as reliable as artillery fire. Your evening review must be as thorough as battlefield. Reconnaissance. Here's the crucial tactical insight. Discipline must be systematic. It's not enough to be occasionally disciplined, to be mostly reliable, to be generally consistent. That's the approach of the mediocre. Empire-grade discipline requires systems, protocols, and non-negotiable standards. Every day, every task, every action create what I call the commander's daily orders. These are not casual to-do lists, they are battle plans for excellence. Each evening, lay out your objectives for the next day with military precision. Times, durations, outcomes, all must be specified. This is not scheduling, this is strategic deployment of your personal forces. But remember this, discipline without purpose is just rigid behavior. Every disciplined action must advance your empire. When I drilled my troops, it wasn't for the sake of order, it was for the sake of victory. Your discipline must have similar clarity of purpose. Each habit you forge, each routine you establish, each standard you maintain, must directly contribute to your empire's expansion. Master the art of systematic execution. In my armies, success wasn't left to chance or mood. It was engineered through systems, guaranteed through protocols, assured through relentless drilling. Your excellence must be equally systematic. Create procedures for everything that matters. Document your processes. Standardize your success. Institute what I call the discipline audit. Every week, review your standards and their execution. Where has discipline faltered? Where have standards slipped? Where have protocols been breached? This is not self-criticism, it's tactical assessment. Just as I would inspect my troops, you must inspect your habits. Your discipline must become legendary. When others sleep, you rise. When others quit, you continue. When others make excuses, you make progress. This is not about motivation. Motivation is a weak commander. This is about ingrained, automated, systematized excellence. Your discipline must be so routine that it becomes unconscious, so consistent that it becomes automatic. Develop what I call the imperial guard of habits. those core disciplines that protect and advance your empire daily. Your morning routine is your front line. Your work protocols are your heavy artillery. Your evening review is your strategic reserve. These must be protected and maintained with absolute vigor. Learn to distinguish between discipline and punishment. Many think discipline means deprivation, that it's about denying yourself pleasure. This is the thinking of amateurs. True discipline is about empowerment, about building systems that make excellence inevitable. It's not about suffering, it's about standardizing success. Your discipline must extend beyond the obvious. Yes, you need discipline in your work, in your health, in your major habits. But empire-grade discipline penetrates every aspect of life. How you speak, how you dress, how you carry yourself, all must reflect the highest standards. Every detail matters in an empire. Establish clear consequences for breaches of discipline. In my army, every soldier knew the price of failing their duty. Your personal standards must have similar clarity. What is the cost of missing your morning routine? What is the penalty for breaking your focus protocols? What price do you pay for letting standards slip? Remember, discipline is not a constraint, it's a force multiplier. Every standard you maintain, every protocol you follow, every system you execute compounds your power. While others rely on motivation, inspiration, and sporadic effort, you will build your empire on the unshakable foundation of discipline. This is the iron law of achievement. Your empire will never exceed your discipline. Your success will never outpace your standards. Your achievements will never surpass your adherence to excellence. The size of your empire is directly proportional to the strength of your discipline. Your mind is your empire's capital, its most crucial territory. Just as I fortified Paris against all invaders, you must fortify your mind against every force that would weaken it. The greatest threats to your empire aren't external armies. They're the ideas you allow past your mental borders. But here's what most people don't understand about mental fortification. It's not about blocking all outside influence. It's about strategic filtration. Just as I carefully controlled who entered France's borders, you must carefully control what enters your mind. Every piece of information, every conversation, every influence must be screened with imperial scrutiny. Implement what I call the mental border protocol. Think of your mind as a sovereign nation. Not every thought deserves citizenship. Not every idea deserves entry. Not every belief deserves sanctuary. You must establish strict criteria for what you allow into your mental territory. Is it aligned with your empire's expansion? Does it strengthen your strategic position? Does it serve your ultimate objectives? The masses consume information like starving peasants, accepting whatever is served, ingesting whatever is available. This is the diet of the dominated, not the diet of dominators. You must be ruthlessly selective. Your mind requires the finest intellectual nutrition, not the common fare that weakens the thinking of ordinary men. Institute the commander's information. Diet. Just as I demanded detailed reports from my generals, you must demand quality from your information sources. Every book you read, every conversation you entertain, every piece of content you consume must meet imperial standards. Mediocre input creates mediocre strategy. Excellence requires excellent fuel. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Your mental fortifications must be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait for weak thoughts to breach your defenses. Prevent their approach. Create systematic barriers against mediocrity. Establish daily protocols that automatically filter out weakness and welcome strength. Your mental court must be carefully curated. In my empire, not everyone had access to strategic discussions. Your mind must operate with similar exclusivity. Be selective about whose opinions you entertain, whose advice you consider, whose ideas you allow to influence your thinking. Mental sovereignty requires mental selectivity. Develop what I call the imperial thought standards. Every idea that seeks entry into your mind must pass rigorous examination. Does it align with your empire's values? Does it contribute to your strategic advantages? Does it strengthen your mental fortitude? Ideas that fail these tests must be deported immediately. But remember this: protection without progression is just isolation. Your mental borders must not only defend against weakness, they must actively seek strength. I didn't just protect France, I enhanced it. Your mind requires similar cultivation. Actively seek ideas that challenge your thinking, expand your strategic options, and strengthen your imperial resolve. Learn to recognize mental insurgents, those thoughts that appear harmless but secretly undermine your empire. Self-doubt disguised as prudence, fear masked as caution, mediocrity presenting itself as realism. These are not mere thoughts, they are saboteurs. They must be identified and eliminated with extreme prejudice. Establish clear protocols for mental hygiene. Just as I required my soldiers to maintain their weapons, you must maintain your mind. Daily reading of strategic material, regular exposure to superior thinking, systematic study of excellence. These are not optional activities, they are imperial requirements. Your mental architecture must be intentionally designed. Every great empire I built began with a clear vision. Your mind must be similarly blueprinted. What thoughts will you cultivate? What ideas will you fortify? What beliefs will you protect? This is not philosophical musing, it's strategic planning. Institute what I call the daily mental review. Each evening, examine your mind's borders. What weaknesses have breached your defenses? What strengths have you acquired? What territories of thought need reinforcement? This is not mere reflection. It's tactical assessment of your most vital resource. Guard against mental mercenaries, those temporary thoughts that serve whoever pays the most. Motivation without foundation, enthusiasm without strategy, confidence without competence. These are unreliable allies that will desert you in crucial battles. Build your mental army on stronger forces. Remember, the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your empire. Weak thoughts create weak plans. Scattered thoughts create scattered results. But a mind fortified with excellence, guarded against mediocrity, and continuously strengthened through strategic cultivation, that creates dynasties. Your mental borders must be legendary in their selectivity. Let others pollute their minds with common thoughts. Let them consume mental junk food. Let them allow every passing idea to take residence in their thinking. You will build your empire on the foundation of protected, cultivated, imperial thought. In the theater of power, speed of decision is often the difference between victory and defeat. I conquered Europe not just through superior strategy, but through superior speed. While others deliberated, I decided. While they planned, I moved. While they considered, I conquered. But here's what most people don't understand about decisive action. It's not about recklessness. It's about calculated aggression. Every swift decision I made was backed by years of study, countless hours of strategic thinking, and a deep understanding of power dynamics. Your ability to decide quickly must be built on similar foundations. Implement what I call the Imperial Decision Protocol. In battle, I had systematic methods for processing information and reaching decisions. You must establish equally rigid frameworks. Every decision must pass through clear strategic filters. Is it aligned with your empire's objectives? Does it maximize your resources? Will it strengthen your position? The masses confuse motion with progress, activity with achievement. They make 1,000 small decisions while avoiding the crucial ones. This is the behavior of servants, not sovereigns. You must develop the ability to instantly distinguish between decisions that deserve your time and those that deserve your delegation. Institute the commander's decision hierarchy. Just as I had clear chains of command, you must have clear decision-making structures. Not every choice requires your personal attention. Create systems that automatically handle routine decisions, freeing your mind for strategic choices that actually impact your empire. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Speed of execution is as important as speed of decision. I didn't just decide quickly. I moved immediately. The gap between decision and action must be minimal. Every moment of delay is a moment your competitors can use to strengthen their position. Your decision-making muscle must be systematically trained. Start with small, swift decisions and gradually increase their significance, just as I trained. My reflexes in military academies before commanding armies. You must train your decision-making capabilities in controlled environments before facing crucial choices. Develop what I call the strategic momentum protocol. Each decision must flow naturally into action. Each action must lead to the next decision. There can be no stagnation, no paralysis by analysis, no death by committee. Your empire must move with the precision of a military campaign and the inevitability of a marching army. But remember this: speed without direction is just chaos. Your swift decisions must be guided by clear strategic principles. I never moved without purpose, never attacked without objective. Every rapid decision you make must advance your position, strengthen your resources, or eliminate threats to your empire. Learn to recognize decision traps, those situations that seem to demand lengthy consideration but actually require immediate action. Analysis paralysis, perfectionism, fear disguised as prudence. These are not signs of wisdom, they are symptoms of weakness. They must be identified and eliminated. Establish clear deadlines for every significant decision. In battle, time is often your greatest enemy. The same is true in empire building. A good decision today is better than a perfect decision tomorrow. Set strict time limits for your decision-making process and hold yourself to them with military discipline. Your execution protocols must be as swift as your decision protocols. Create systems that allow immediate implementation of your choices. Every great decision I made was backed by mechanisms for instant action. Your empire must operate with similar efficiency. Institute what I call the rapid response review. After each swift decision and action, analyze the results immediately. What worked? What failed? What could be streamlined? This is not second-guessing. It's tactical refinement of your decision-making apparatus. Guard against the curse of overconsultation. While others seek endless opinions, gather infinite data, and wait for perfect conditions, you must develop the courage to act on incomplete information. I often had to make campaign-defining decisions with limited intelligence. Your ability to decide and move under uncertainty will set you apart from the masses. Remember, the speed of your empire's expansion is directly proportional to the speed of your decision-making. Slow decisions create slow progress. Hesitant choices create hesitant results. But swift strategic decisions, backed by immediate, precise action, that creates unstoppable momentum. Your decision-making reputation must become legendary. When others hesitate, you act. When they debate, you decide. When they seek consensus, you seek conquest. This is not about being rash, it's about being ready. Ready to decide, ready to move, ready to seize the opportunities that the hesitant will never grasp. The difference between a mere ruler and an emperor lies not in their power, but in their vision. While others build for a lifetime, we build for centuries. While they chase comfort, we chase immortality. While they focus on living well, we focus on living eternally through our works. But here's what most people don't understand about legacy. It's not about being remembered. It's about being inevitable. The French Empire I built wasn't just a collection of territories. It was a transformation of civilization. Your empire must have similar depth of impact. It must change not just circumstances, but consciousness. Implement what I call the legacy protocol. Every decision you make must be filtered through two lenses, its immediate impact and its eternal echo. Will this choice matter in a year, in a decade, in a century? The masses make decisions for today. Emperors make decisions for eternity. Your lifestyle is merely the uniform you wear. Your legacy is the empire you build. I've watched countless men waste their potential pursuing comfort, luxury, and ease. They build golden cages and call them achievements. This is the path of the wealthy. Servant, not the path of the empire builder. Institute the imperial impact framework. Just as I measured my campaigns not by battles won, but by nations transformed, you must measure your actions not by immediate rewards, but by lasting influence. Every project you undertake, every venture you launch, every relationship you build, must serve your legacy's expansion. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Legacy requires sacrifice. I lived in military camps while building an empire. I ate with my soldiers while extending France's glory. Your willingness to sacrifice immediate pleasure for eternal impact will determine the size of your legacy. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Your daily actions must be aligned with your eternal vision. I didn't just plan battles, I planned generations. Every victory was a brick in a larger monument. Your work must have similar architectural precision. Each day must build upon the last. Each achievement must support the next. Each success must strengthen your legacy's foundation. Develop what I call the Eternal Excellence Protocol. Standards that apply only to your lifetime are too low. Your work must meet the standards of history. Would this achievement be studied in a century? Would this innovation be remembered in an age? Would this impact be felt across generations? These are the questions that should guide your actions. But remember this: legacy isn't just about what you build, it's about what you set in motion. My greatest achievement wasn't just the empire I created, but the changes I initiated, the systems I established, the transformations I sparked. Your legacy must have similar kinetic force. It must continue expanding long after you've left the battlefield. Learn to distinguish between empire-building and empire-maintaining activities. Maintenance is for managers. Building is for emperors. Every day ask yourself, am I merely maintaining my current position, or am I expanding my eternal impact? Am I managing resources, or am I creating legends? Establish clear legacy metrics. Just as I measured the expansion of France's influence, you must measure the growth of your impact. How many lives are you touching? What systems are you transforming? What innovations are you spawning? These are not vanity metrics, they're legacy indicators. Your time horizon must extend beyond your lifetime. Create what I call the century. Vision protocol. Plan not just for your success, but for your succession, not just for your achievement, but for your influence, not just for your wealth, but for your impact. This is not fantasy, it's strategic immortality. Institute what I call the legacy audit. Regularly review your actions through the lens of permanence. What are you building that will outlast you? What are you creating that will continue creating? What are you establishing that will continue establishing? This is not philosophical reflection. It's strategic planning for eternity. Guard against the seduction of immediate gratification. The masses live for the moment, celebrating small victories, chasing temporary pleasures. This is why they leave. No trace in history's ledger. Your focus must be fixed on eternal impact, on building something that demands remembrance. Remember, the size of your legacy is determined by the scope of your vision. Small thinking creates small impact. Temporary thinking creates temporary results. But thinking in centuries, planning for generations, building for eternity, that creates immortal empires. Your legacy must be your obsession. Let others chase. Promotions, accumulate possessions, and celebrate minor victories. You are building something that will echo through time. Every action you take, every decision you make, every battle you fight, must serve not just your success, but your significance. Not just your prosperity, but your permanence. Your circle of influence is not a democracy, it's an empire. Just as I carefully selected my marshals and eliminated those who showed weakness, you must be ruthless in choosing who has access to your time, your energy, and your vision. Your alliances will either fortify your empire or facilitate its fall. But here's what most people don't understand about strategic relationships. It's not about networking, it's about empire building. The masses collect connections like peasants collect copper coins. They mistake quantity for quality, activity for achievement. This is the strategy of the weak, not the way of empire. Implement what I call the Alliance Audit Protocol. Every relationship in your life must be evaluated with imperial scrutiny. Does this person strengthen your resolve or weaken your standards? Do they elevate your thinking or drain your energy? Do they push you toward greatness or pull you toward mediocrity? There can be no neutral relationships in an empire. Your time is too valuable to be spent with those who have no empire-building ambitions. I didn't waste hours with soldiers who showed no potential for leadership. You must be equally selective. Every person in your inner circle must be either actively building their own empire or directly contributing to yours. Institute the Commander's Circle Protocol. Just as I had different levels of advisors and confidants, you must establish clear hierarchies in your relationships. Not everyone deserves the same access to your time and energy. Create concentric circles of influence, with only the most valuable allies reaching the inner sanctum. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Weak associations will drain more resources than any external enemy. I lost more battles through unreliable allies than through superior opponents. Your empire's greatest threats often come disguised as friendships, partnerships, and collaborations that secretly sap your strength. Your relationship standards must be uncompromising. In my campaigns, I demanded excellence from every officer. Your personal and professional associations must meet similar standards. Establish clear criteria for who gets to enter your world and be merciless in enforcing these boundaries. Develop what I call the Strategic Alliance Framework. Every significant relationship must serve a clear imperial purpose. What value do they bring? What strengths do they add? What opportunities do they create? This isn't cold calculation, it's strategic. Empire building. Relationships without purpose become liabilities. But remember this: elimination of weak ties isn't enough. You must actively cultivate strong ones. I didn't just remove ineffective generals, I promoted and developed exceptional ones. Your empire requires allies who match your ambition, who understand your vision, who complement your strength. Learn to recognize relationship parasites, those who take more than they give, who promise more than they deliver, who talk more than they act. These are not mere annoyances. They are strategic threats to your empire. They must be identified and eliminated with the same precision you'd use to remove any other threat. Establish clear protocols for relationship evaluation. Just as I regularly assessed my officers' performance, you must regularly assess your associations. Set specific periods for reviewing your alliances. Who has proven their value? Who has become a drain? Who needs to be promoted? Who needs to be removed? Your time is a finite military resource. Every moment spent with weak allies is a moment stolen from strong ones. Create what I call the Time Investment Protocol. Track where your relational energy is going. Measure the return on your social investments. Reallocate your attention to relationships that serve your empire. Institute what I call the Alliance Advancement System. Don't just maintain strong relationships, strengthen them. I constantly challenged my best generals to achieve more. Your strongest allies should be continuously elevated, challenged, and developed. Strong alliances become stronger through strategic cultivation. Guard against emotional decision-making in relationships. The masses keep people in their lives out of habit, guilt, or fear. This is the behavior of the weak. Every relationship in your empire must earn its place through demonstrated value and aligned vision. Remember, the strength of your empire is directly proportional to the strength of your alliances. Weak associations create weak foundations. Mediocre relationships create mediocre results. But strategic, strong, carefully curated alliances? They create unstoppable empires. Your relationship standards must become legendary. Let others maintain. Draining friendships. Let them engage in pointless networking. Let them waste time with those who have no vision. You will build your empire with an inner circle of carefully chosen, highly capable, absolutely loyal allies who understand that greatness demands selectivity. Great empires are not built on inspiration, they are built on infrastructure. When I transformed France, it wasn't just through military might, but through systems, codes, and structures that would outlast any single battle. Your empire demands similar architectural precision. But here's what most people don't understand about structure. It's not about restriction, it's about liberation. The masses fear systems, thinking they limit creativity. They resist structure, believing it constrains freedom. This is the logic of amateurs. True power flows through well-designed channels. Implement what I call the Imperial Systems Protocol. Just as I created the Napoleonic Code to govern France, you must create clear frameworks for every crucial area of your empire. Your morning routine, your work processes, your decision-making frameworks, all must be codified with military precision. Your systems are your silent soldiers. They fight for your empire while you sleep. They advance your cause without direct command. They maintain order without constant supervision. But like any military force, they must be strategically designed, carefully implemented, and regularly reviewed. Institute the commander's structure framework. In my army, every soldier knew exactly what was expected. Every officer understood their authority. Every unit had clear objectives. Your empire must operate with similar clarity. Create explicit systems for everything that matters. No crucial outcome can be left to chance. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Structure creates speed. My armies moved faster than any in Europe, not because of superior horses, but because of superior organization. When you have clear systems, decisions are faster, execution is smoother, and progress is inevitable. Chaos creates hesitation. Structure creates velocity. Your daily operations must run like military campaigns. I didn't wake up each morning wondering how to run an empire. I had systems for everything. Your life must have similar precision. From the moment you wake to the moment you rest, every significant action must be guided by proven protocols. Develop what I call the strategic systems matrix. Every key area of your empire must have 3 layers of structure. Foundational systems that ensure basics are handled, operational systems that maintain daily excellence, and strategic systems that drive growth and expansion. This is not bureaucracy, it's empire-building architecture. But remember this, systems without purpose are just procedures. Every structure you build must serve your empire's expansion. I didn't create systems for their own sake. I created them to strengthen France's power. Your frameworks must have similar strategic intent. They must make you stronger, faster, more effective. Learn to recognize structural weaknesses, those areas where lack of system creates chaos, where absence of protocol produces waste, where missing framework leads to failure. These are not minor inefficiencies. They are structural threats to your empire. They must be identified and fortified. Establish clear protocols for system creation. Whenever you find yourself solving the same problem twice, that's a signal. A new system is needed. Whenever you see consistent friction in your operations, that's an opportunity. A new framework must be built. Don't just solve problems. Systematize solutions. Your systems must be both rigid and adaptable. Create what I call the flexible framework protocol. Like a military formation, your structures must be firm enough to maintain order, but flexible enough to respond to changing conditions. Systems that can't evolve become liabilities. Institute what I call the systems audit regime. Regularly review your structures with strategic scrutiny. Which systems are creating power? Which are causing friction? Which need refinement? Which need replacement? This is not administrative work. It's strategic reinforcement of your empire's foundations. Guard against the chaos of creativity without structure. The masses believe that freedom comes from absence of system. They are wrong. True freedom comes from having systems so effective that excellence becomes automatic. Your creativity should flow through channels you have strategically designed. Remember, the strength of your empire depends on the strength of its structures. Weak systems create weak results. Random actions create random outcomes. But strategic, well-designed, carefully maintained structures, they create empires that last centuries. Your systematic approach must become legendary. Let others operate in chaos. Let them rely on inspiration. Let them deal with each challenge as if it's new. You will build your empire on the bedrock of strategic systems, proven protocols, and structures that make excellence inevitable. When I created the Napoleonic Code, I wasn't just writing laws, I was building a framework for civilization. Your systems must have similar scope. They shouldn't just organize your current operations, they should create the foundation for your empire's eternal expansion. Every structure you build should outlast you. In the grand theater of power, your identity is not just who you are. It's a weapon, a territory, a force that shapes reality itself. When I transformed from Bonaparte to Napoleon, it wasn't mere nomenclature, it was strategic empire building. Your identity must be crafted with similar imperial intention. But here's what most people don't understand about identity. It's not about who you are, it's about who you are becoming. The masses accept the identity given to them by circumstance. They let their past define their future. They allow others to write their story. This is the behavior of subjects, not sovereigns. Implement what I call the Imperial Identity Protocol. Just as I carefully crafted my image as emperor, you must strategically design every aspect of your presence. How you carry yourself, how you speak, how you respond to challenges, all must align with your empire's grandest vision. Your identity is your first and most crucial territory. Before I conquered nations, I conquered myself. I transformed from a Corsican outsider to the Emperor of France through deliberate identity crafting. Your empire's first expansion must be in how you view yourself, how you present yourself, how you define yourself. Institute the commander's presence framework. In my court, every gesture had meaning, every word carried weight, every action reinforced power. Your presence must command similar respect. Create clear protocols for how you present yourself in every situation. Your identity must be consistent, powerful, and deliberately crafted. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Identity precedes achievement. I didn't wait to become emperor to carry myself like one. Your identity must be built on who you are becoming, not who you have been. Let others be defined by their past. You will be defined by your vision. Your daily actions must reinforce your chosen identity. I didn't just claim imperial power. I lived it in every moment, every decision, every interaction. Your behavior must similarly align with your empire's identity. There can be no gap between who you claim to be and how you operate. Develop what I call the strategic identity matrix. Every aspect of your presence must be examined and aligned. Your communication style, your physical presence, your decision-making patterns, your relationship dynamics. This isn't about pretense, it's about conscious evolution into your imperial self. But remember this, identity without substance is just theater. I didn't just look like an emperor, I built an empire. Your identity must be backed by legitimate power, real achievement, actual impact. It must be the external expression of internal strength, not a mask covering weakness. Learn to recognize identity assassins, those forces that would diminish your presence, doubt your authority, question your legitimacy. These are not mere annoyances. They are strategic threats to your empire's foundation. They must be confronted and eliminated with imperial authority. Establish clear protocols for identity reinforcement. Just as I created ceremonies and symbols to reinforce French imperial power, you must create daily rituals that strengthen your chosen identity. Every morning, every interaction, every challenge is an opportunity to fortify who you are becoming. Your identity must be both unshakable and evolving. Create what I call the dynamic identity protocol. Like an empire that both maintains its core and expands its reach, your identity must have solid foundations while continuously growing in power and influence. Institute what I call the identity audit system. Regularly review how you're showing up in the world. Is your presence aligned with your vision? Are your actions supporting your identity? Are you allowing old patterns to undermine your new power? This isn't vanity, it's strategic self-assessment. Guard against the temptation to shapeshift. The masses change themselves to fit each situation, becoming whoever they think others want them to be. This is the strategy of the weak. Your identity must be consistent, powerful, and authentically aligned with your empire's vision. Remember, the power of your empire is directly proportional to the strength of your identity. Weak presence creates weak impact. Inconsistent identity creates inconsistent results. But a strategically crafted, carefully maintained, continuously reinforced imperial identity, that creates dynasties. Your identity must become legendary. Let others conform to expectations. Let them shrink to fit in. Let them be defined by their limitations. You will build your empire on the foundation of an identity so powerful, so compelling, so undeniable that it reshapes reality itself. When I crowned myself emperor, I wasn't just claiming a title, I was declaring my identity's sovereignty. Your self-definition must have similar power. It shouldn't just describe who you are, it should create who you are becoming. Every aspect of your identity should radiate the undeniable authority of someone building an eternal empire. Peace is a lie that the weak tell themselves. In every empire's expansion, chaos is not just possible, it's inevitable. I didn't conquer Europe by expecting easy victories. I conquered it by being more prepared for chaos than my enemies were for order. But here's what most people don't understand about chaos. It's not your enemy. It's your opportunity. The masses fear disruption, avoid conflict, run from resistance. This is why they remain the masses. True power isn't built in comfort. It's forged in chaos. Implement what I call the Chaos Readiness Protocol. Just as I trained my armies to fight in any condition, you must train your empire to thrive in any circumstance. Every system you build, every skill you develop, every alliance you forge must be tested against chaos before you need it in battle. Your preparation for chaos must be systematic. When I marched on Moscow, I wasn't just ready for combat. I was ready for winter, for supply line disruption, for every imaginable challenge. Your empire must have similar depth of preparation. Don't just plan for success. Plan for every possible form of resistance. Institute the Commander's Resilience Framework. In my campaigns, every unit had multiple backup plans, every strategy had contingencies, every advance had secure retreat routes. Your empire must operate with similar strategic depth. Create layered defenses against every type of chaos that could threaten your advance. Here is a crucial tactical insight. Chaos is a better teacher than comfort. My greatest military innovations came not from peaceful planning, but from battlefield necessity. Your empire's greatest strengths will be forged in moments of greatest challenge. Don't just survive chaos, learn from it. Your daily training must simulate chaos. I didn't wait for battles to test my troops. I created challenging conditions. During peace, your preparation must be equally rigorous. Deliberately seek out difficulties, intentionally create challenges, systematically expose yourself to controlled chaos. Develop what I call the Strategic Stress Protocol. Every crucial aspect of your empire must be stress-tested. Your mental resilience, your physical stamina, your strategic thinking, your operational systems. This isn't masochism. It's strategic preparation for inevitable resistance. But remember this. Training for chaos doesn't mean living in paranoia. I wasn't paralyzed by what could go wrong. I was empowered by being ready for it. Your preparation For resistance must energize you, not drain you. It should make you more bold, not more hesitant. Learn to recognize opportunity in upheaval. When others see crisis, you must see conquest. When they see problems, you must see possibilities. When they retreat in chaos, you must advance with strategy. This isn't optimism, it's tactical opportunism. Establish clear protocols for chaos response. Just as I had predetermined responses for various battlefield scenarios, you must have ready reactions for different types of resistance. Create what I call the Imperial Response Matrix. Specific, practiced responses to every category of chaos. Your resilience must be both tactical and strategic. Institute what I call the Dual Resilience Protocol. Like an army that can both defend its position and seize new territory, your response to chaos must protect what you've built while exploiting new opportunities that disruption creates. Institute what I call the Chaos Simulation Regime. Regularly subject yourself and your systems to controlled stress. How do your strategies hold up under pressure? How do your systems perform in crisis? How does your thinking clarity maintain in confusion? This isn't self-punishment. It's strategic strengthening. Guard against the temptation of comfortable preparation. The masses train in ideal conditions, practice when they feel good, prepare only for what they can predict. This is why they crumble. When real challenges arise, your training must embrace difficulty, seek out resistance, court controlled chaos. Remember, the strength of your empire is revealed not in times of peace, but in moments of chaos. Weak preparation creates weak performance. Comfortable training creates fragile results. But systematic, strategic preparation for chaos, that creates unstoppable empires. Your readiness for resistance must become legendary. Let others hope for easy paths. Let them pray for perfect conditions. Let them wish for resistance to disappear. You will build your empire on the foundation of systematic preparation for every type of chaos, every category of resistance, every form of opposition. When I faced the combined armies of Europe, I wasn't surprised by resistance. I was ready for it. Your empire must have similar strategic depth. Every advance you make should be supported by layers of preparation, every achievement backed by systematic readiness for the chaos that success inevitably attracts. Excellence is not a goal, it's a baseline. When I ruled France, I didn't aim to be the best among leaders. I became the standard by which leadership was measured. Your empire must establish similar dominance. Don't compete with standards. Create them. But here's what most people don't understand about setting standards. It's not about being better, it's about being different. The masses compete within established parameters. They fight for position within existing frameworks. This is the strategy of subjects, not sovereigns. True power comes from establishing new parameters entirely. Implement what I call the Imperial Standards Protocol. Just as I created new forms of warfare, new systems of law, new methods of governance, you must create new standards in your domain. Don't just excel within current boundaries. Redraw the boundaries themselves. Make others compete on territory you've already conquered. Your standards must be systematically established. When I reformed French society, it wasn't through isolated improvements, but through comprehensive elevation of every standard. Your empire must raise the bar across all dimensions. Your work quality, your thinking depth, your execution speed, your strategic scope. Institute the Commander's Excellence Framework. In my empire, excellence wasn't optional. It was operational. Your domain must function with similar demands. Create clear, measurable standards for everything that matters. Make excellence so systematic that it becomes automatic. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Standards are weapons. When I established new military standards, I wasn't just improving my army, I was making my enemies obsolete. Your standards must serve similar strategic purpose. They should not just elevate your performance, they should eliminate your competition. Your daily operations must radiate excellence. I didn't just demand high standards, I embodied them. Your presence must command similar respect. Every action, you take, every word you speak, every decision you make, must reinforce your position as the standard bearer of excellence. Develop what I call the strategic standards matrix. Every aspect of your empire must be governed by clear, elevated standards: your personal conduct, your professional output, your strategic thinking, your tactical execution. This isn't perfectionism, it's strategic dominance through excellence. But remember this: setting standards isn't about being perfect, it's about being unprecedented. I didn't just do things well, I did things that hadn't been done before. Your standards must push beyond current conceptions of excellence. Don't just raise the bar, create new categories of achievement. Learn to recognize mediocrity masks, those comfortable compromises that disguise themselves as good enough. These are not minor infractions, they are strategic threats to your empire's standards. They must be identified and eliminated with extreme prejudice. Establish clear protocols for standards enforcement. Just as I held my generals accountable to unprecedented expectations, you must hold yourself and your operations to unwavering standards. Create what I call the excellence enforcement system, specific mechanisms for maintaining and elevating standards. Your standards must be both consistent and evolving. Institute what I call the dynamic excellence protocol, like an empire that both maintains its core and expands its reach. Your standards must have solid foundations while continuously pushing new boundaries. Institute what I call the standards audit regime. Regularly review your performance against your own benchmarks. Are you maintaining your established excellence? Are you pushing new boundaries? Are you allowing any areas to slip below your standards? This isn't critique, it's strategic standard maintenance. Guard against the temptation of relative excellence. The masses measure themselves against their competitors, celebrating when they're slightly better than average. This is the mindset of mediocrity. Your standards must be absolute, measured against perfection, not competition. Remember, the power of your empire is directly proportional to the height of your standards. Weak standards create weak results. Average standards create average outcomes. But systematic, strategic, continuously elevated standards, they create legendary empires. Your commitment to excellence must become mythical. Let others celebrate small victories. Let them find comfort in being above average. Let them measure themselves against their peers. You will build your empire on standards so high that others use them as measurements, on excellence so consistent that it becomes the definition of quality itself. When I created the Grande Armée, I didn't just build a better army. I redefined what an army could be. Your standards must have similar transformative power. They shouldn't just improve your performance, they should revolutionize your entire domain. Every standard you set should become the new baseline for excellence in your field. Balance is the refuge of the mediocre. When I conquered Europe, I didn't seek equilibrium. I sought dominance. The greatest lie told to empire builders is that they must find balance. Greatness demands obsession, and obsession destroys balance by design. But here's what most people don't understand about obsession. It's not about losing control, it's about focusing it absolutely. The masses praise balance, celebrate moderation, worship the middle path. This is why they remain in the middle of achievement, stuck in the balanced mediocrity of ordinary life. Implement what I call the imperial obsession protocol. Just as I was obsessed with military strategy, studying it every available moment, you must be consumed by your empire's advancement. Every thought, every action, every decision must serve your singular focus. This isn't imbalance, it's strategic concentration of force. Your obsession must be systematic. When I planned campaigns, I didn't just think about them occasionally. I lived them completely. Your dedication must have similar totality. Create systems that turn your obsession into progress, your fixation into achievement, your single-mindedness into strategic advantage. Institute the commander's focus framework. In my campaigns, every resource, every soldier, every decision served one purpose: victory. Your empire must operate with similar, singular purpose. Create clear channels for your obsession to flow through, turning passionate intensity into practical progress. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Obsession creates breakthrough. My military innovations didn't come from balanced consideration. They came from relentless focus. Your empire's greatest advances will come not from moderate effort, but from concentrated force of will applied to a single point of achievement. Your daily life must reflect your obsession. I didn't separate military strategy from personal life. I merged them completely. Your dedication must be equally total. Every moment must serve your empire's expansion. Every experience must fuel your obsession. Every interaction must advance your cause. Develop what I call the strategic obsession matrix. Every aspect of your life must be evaluated through the lens of your singular focus. Does this strengthen my obsession or weaken it? Does this advance my cause or dilute it? Does this serve my empire or distract from it? This isn't fanaticism, it's strategic clarity. But remember this, obsession without direction is just chaos. I wasn't just obsessed with warfare, I was obsessed with mastering it, revolutionizing it, dominating through it. Your obsession must have similar strategic purpose. It must not just consume your energy, but channel it toward specific empire-building outcomes. Learn to recognize balance traps, those comfortable compromises that promise harmony but deliver mediocrity. These are not lifestyle choices. They are strategic threats to your empire's advancement. They must be identified and eliminated with extreme prejudice. Establish clear protocols for maintaining obsessive focus. Just as I organized every aspect of military life around strategic objectives, you must organize every aspect of your life around your empire's advancement. Create what I call the total dedication system, specific mechanisms for turning obsession into achievement. Your obsession must be both sustainable and scalable. Institute what I call the perpetual progress protocol. Like an army that both maintains its position and advances its line, your obsession must be consistent while continuously expanding its scope and impact. Institute what I call the obsession audit regime. Regularly review your focus and its results. Is your obsession maintaining its intensity? Is it producing proportional results? Is it being diluted by compromise? This isn't self-criticism. It's strategic assessment of your most powerful force. Guard against the temptation of reasonable moderation. The masses pride themselves on being well-rounded, on maintaining work-life balance, on having diverse interests. This is why they achieve rounded results, circular motion that goes nowhere. Your obsession must be your edge, your imbalance, your advantage. Remember, the power of your empire is directly proportional to the intensity of your focus. Balanced effort creates balanced results. Moderate dedication creates moderate achievements. But strategic, sustained, single-minded obsession, that creates empires that reshape reality. Your dedication must become legendary. Let others praise. Balance. Let them seek harmony. Let them celebrate moderation. You will build your empire on the foundation of absolute obsession, on dedication so complete that it becomes a force of nature, on focus so intense that it bends reality to its will. When I devoted myself to military mastery, I didn't seek balance, I sought totality. Your obsession must have similar consuming power. It shouldn't just be part of your life, it should be the lens through which you view all of life. Every moment of every day should serve your empire's singular purpose. The battlefield that determines your empire's fate isn't in the public arena, it's in the private chambers of your discipline. Before I commanded armies in public, I commanded myself in private. Your empire's strength isn't built under observation, it's forged in solitude. But here's what most people don't understand about private mastery. It's not about hidden preparation, it's about invisible advantage. The masses focus on public performance, obsess over visible achievements, chase obvious victories. This is why they remain perpetual performers, rather than true powers. Implement what I call the private power protocol. Just as I spent countless hidden hours studying military strategy before my first command, you must invest invisible time mastering your domain. Every skill, every strategy, every advantage must be developed far from public view. This isn't secrecy, it's strategic depth. Your private discipline must be systematic. When I prepared for campaigns, my personal regimen was more demanding than any public expectation. Your private standards must exceed external demands. Create systems that force excellence. When no one is watching, that demand mastery before any audience arrives. Institute the commander's private framework. In my solitary studies, every hour was maximized, every resource was utilized, every moment was invested in mastery. Your private life must operate with similar strategic intention. Create clear protocols for turning isolated hours into empire building. Power. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Private mastery creates public inevitability. My victories appeared swift to observers because they were already won in private preparation. Your empire's public successes must be equally predetermined through hidden excellence. The outcome should be decided before the battle begins. Your daily private practice must exceed your public performance. I didn't just meet the standards expected of a military leader. I created new standards in private that made public excellence automatic. Your hidden work must establish similar dominance. Every private moment must build foundations for public power. Develop what I call the strategic solitude matrix. Every aspect of your private preparation must be measured against future public demands. Are you developing skills beyond current requirements? Are you building strength beyond present challenges? Are you creating advantages beyond existing competitions? This isn't over-preparation, it's strategic dominance. But remember this, private mastery isn't about perfectionism, it's about power creation. I didn't just practice until I couldn't fail. I practiced until success became my only possible outcome. Your private work must have similar transformative purpose. It must not just prepare you for challenges, but make you immune to them. Learn to recognize performance traps, those temptations to focus on public show rather than private substance. These are not mere distractions. They are strategic threats to your empire's foundation. They must be identified and eliminated with extreme prejudice. Establish clear protocols for private development. Just as I had specific routines for personal study and preparation, you must have structured systems for private growth. Create what I call the hidden excellence system, specific mechanisms for turning solitary work into public power. Your private mastery must be both fundamental and revolutionary. Institute what I call the dual development protocol. Like an army that both maintains its core strength and develops new capabilities, your private work must reinforce basics while advancing beyond current limitations. Institute what I call the private progress regime. Regularly review your hidden work and its impact. Is your private mastery maintaining its depth? Is it creating proportional public power? Is it being diluted by external focus? This isn't self-examination, it's strategic assessment of your power source. Guard against the allure of premature exposure. The masses rush to display every small achievement, celebrate every minor victory, showcase every moment of progress. This is why they remain shallow powers. Your private mastery must be your hidden weapon, your secret advantage, your invisible edge. Remember, the strength of your empire is built in shadows before it's revealed in light. Weak private discipline creates weak public power. Shallow private mastery creates shallow public impact. But systematic, strategic, sustained private excellence, that creates empires that appear unstoppable. Your hidden work must become legendary. Let others chase public acclaim. Let them seek immediate recognition. Let them rush to display their progress. You will build your empire on the foundation of private mastery, so complete that public success becomes merely its visible expression. When I emerged as a military leader, my public actions appeared effortless. Because they were supported by years of private mastery, your empire must have similar invisible depth. It shouldn't just perform well in public. It should operate from a foundation of private excellence so thorough that failure becomes impossible. Dreams of empire are worthless without the artillery of action. When I envisioned French dominance, I didn't just imagine it, I engineered it, hour by hour, battle by battle, victory by victory. Your vision must be equally matched by relentless execution, or it remains mere fantasy. But here's what most people don't understand about action. It's not about movement, it's about conquest. The masses mistake activity for achievement, motion for progress, busyness for battle. This is why they remain dreamers rather than creators, visionaries rather than victors. Implement what I call the Imperial Action Protocol. Just as I transformed military theory into battlefield victory, you must transform every vision into visible conquest. Each goal, each strategy, each aspiration must be broken down into daily tactical advances. This isn't planning, it's war-making. Your execution must be systematic. When I moved against Austria, every step was calculated, every action was coordinated, every advance was strategic. Your implementation must have similar precision. Create systems that turn grand visions into granular victories, ambitious goals into achievable battles. Institute the commander's execution framework. In my campaigns, every soldier knew their daily objective. Every officer understood their immediate mission. Every unit had clear targets. Your empire must operate with similar tactical clarity. Create specific actions for every strategic goal. Immediate tasks for every ultimate outcome. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Action creates clarity. My greatest strategic insights didn't come from contemplation, they came from engagement. Your empire's path will become clearer through movement. The next step reveals itself to those already marching, not those merely thinking about the journey. Your daily actions must align with imperial ambitions. I didn't just plan campaigns, I won daily skirmishes. Your execution must be equally relentless. Every hour must include specific actions that advance your empire. Every day must contain tactical victories that support strategic goals. Develop what I call the Strategic Action Matrix. Every vision must be translated into immediate battlefield. Requirements: what must be conquered today? What territory must be claimed this week? What victories must be secured this month? This isn't task management, it's empire building through systematic advance. But remember this: action without direction is just chaos. I didn't just keep my armies busy, I kept them advancing towards specific objectives. Your activity must have similar strategic purpose. It must not just fill time, but claim territory, not just create motion, but generate conquest. Learn to recognize action illusions, those activities that create the appearance of progress without actual advance. These are not mere inefficiencies. They are strategic threats to your empire's expansion. They must be identified and eliminated with extreme prejudice. Establish clear protocols for vision execution. Just as I had specific systems for translating strategy into battlefield action, you must have structured approaches for turning dreams into dominion. Create what I call the vision implementation system, specific mechanisms for transforming every goal into daily conquest. Your action must be both immediate and strategic. Institute what I call the dual advance protocol. Like an army that both wins today's battle and positions for tomorrow's war, your execution must secure current victories while advancing toward ultimate objectives. Institute what I call the action audit regime. Regularly review your activities and their results. Is your action creating actual advance? Is it producing proportional progress? Is it being wasted on non-strategic movement? This isn't productivity assessment, it's strategic confirmation of conquest. Guard against the seduction of strategic paralysis. The masses spend endless hours perfecting plans, refining visions, awaiting perfect conditions. This is why they remain permanently positioned but never advancing. Your action must be your advantage, your execution, your edge. Remember, the power of your empire is built through daily conquest, not daily contemplation. Weak action creates weak results. Scattered activity creates scattered achievements. But systematic, strategic, sustained action, that creates empires that transform vision into reality. Your execution must become legendary. Let others perfect their plans. Let them refine their visions. Let them wait for ideal conditions. You will build your empire through relentless advance, through daily conquest, through systematic transformation of every vision into visible victory. When I conquered Europe, it wasn't through superior dreams, it was through superior execution. Your empire must be built with similar relentless action. Every vision must be immediately translated into advance, every goal into movement, every aspiration into attack. The time for planning alone has ended. The era of execution has begun. This is your final command, and it is absolute. You will either build your empire or die in the attempt. There is no middle ground, no acceptable compromise, no honorable retreat. When I fought for France, every battle was to the death, either victory or total defeat. Your commitment must carry similar finality. But here's what most people don't understand about total commitment. It's not about desperation, it's about liberation. The masses keep their options open, maintain backup plans, create escape routes. This is why they remain trapped in mediocrity, paralyzed by the very safety nets that prevent their ascent. Implement what I call the final command protocol. Just as I burned bridges behind my armies to eliminate retreat as an option, you must destroy every possibility of settling for less than empire. Every decision, every action, every moment must carry the weight of absolute commitment. This isn't recklessness, it's strategic finality. Your dedication must be systematic. When I advanced into Russia, every soldier knew retreat meant death. Advance was the only option. Your commitment must have similar totality. Create systems that make retreat impossible, that turn total dedication into your only choice, that make empire building your only path. Institute the commander's ultimate framework. In my final campaigns, every resource was committed, every reserve was deployed, every option except victory was eliminated. Your empire must be pursued with similars. Absoluteness. Create clear protocols that make total commitment your only operating mode. Here's a crucial tactical insight. Complete commitment creates unstoppable force. My armies achieved impossible victories because retreat was never considered. Your empire will achieve similar breakthroughs when continuation becomes your only option. Elimination of alternatives creates concentration of power. Your daily actions must reflect ultimate commitment. I didn't just talk about victory or death, I lived it in every moment. Your dedication must be equally absolute. Every decision must advance your empire. Every action must strengthen your position. Every moment must serve your ultimate conquest. Develop what I call the strategic finality matrix. Every aspect of your empire building must be approached with absolute commitment. Are you advancing as if retreat is impossible? Are you fighting as if survival depends on victory? Are you building as if failure means death? This isn't melodrama, it's strategic intensity. But remember this, total commitment isn't about blind charge, it's about concentrated power. I didn't just throw my forces at objectives, I committed them totally to strategic victories. Your dedication must have similar purpose. It must not just be complete, but completely aligned with strategic goals. Learn to recognize commitment pretense, those half measures that masquerade as total dedication. These are not mere weaknesses, they are fatal flaws in your empire's foundation. They must be identified and eliminated with extreme prejudice. Establish clear protocols for maintaining absolute commitment, just as I had systems for ensuring my armies couldn't retreat. You must have structures that make your dedication irreversible. Create what I call the total commitment system. specific mechanisms for making empire building your only option. Your dedication must be both sustainable and absolute. Institute what I call the perpetual advance protocol. Like an army that fights with total commitment while maintaining long-term capability, your dedication must be complete while remaining strategically sound. Institute what I call the commitment audit regime. Regularly review your dedication and its totality. Is your commitment maintaining its absoluteness? Is it producing proportional results? Is it being diluted by hesitation? This isn't self-doubt. It's strategic verification of total dedication. Guard against the comfort of partial commitment. The masses pride themselves on reasonable dedication, on balanced effort, on measured advance. This is why they achieve partial results. Your commitment must be your defining characteristic, your totality, your trademark. Remember, the power of your empire is directly proportional to the completeness of your commitment. Partial dedication creates partial results. Hedged bets create hedged achievements. But total, strategic, sustained commitment, that creates empires that reshape history. Your dedication must become mythical. Let others maintain backup plans. Let them create escape routes. Let them hedge their bets. You will build your empire on the foundation of commitment so complete that retreat becomes impossible, on dedication so absolute that victory becomes inevitable. When I faced the combined armies of Europe, I didn't fight to survive. I fought to conquer. Your empire must be built with similar totality of purpose. It shouldn't just be your best option. It should be your only option. Every day, you must choose, build your empire or die trying. There is no third choice.